Hey guys, it's Greg with the Morning Paper Podcast once again this week. Um, and I'm here with Tim again. What's up, Tim?
Not too much. It's a big night for Cleveland.
It's a big night for Cleveland. I almost bumped you for Scott Baio, but then at the last minute he decided he was going to be a primetime speaker at the Republican National Convention.
I um I was the Indians are winning 2-0 in Kansas City.
Oh, that.
I mean, like
Right.
more obviously more important stuff.
It's certainly more important. I mean, I would say that the Indians have a better chance of winning in November than Donald Trump. Heyo. Um, no, it is. It's a big time for Cleveland. I wonder how much the Cavs winning the NBA title kind of like if it changed things at all in terms of the mood in Cleveland.
Um, I mean, look, like the Indians made some big strides last year because they have a lot of young arms on the staff,
Yeah,
and I think they were kind of thought of as not necessarily a sleeper team, but like a team that would make a jump this year.
yeah.
So I mean, we kind of discussed this in email. I mean, I probably follow this closer than
Are you talking
probably
about the
everybody, but
Indians or the Cavs? Because I was talking about the
in
Cavs.
the Indians, but like just the city of Cleveland. So
Okay.
like the jump for them was going to be there, right? So
Yeah.
like they're probably still not the favorite. I mean, Texas probably still the favorite, but I think you saw. I mean, it's not like the Cavs came out of nowhere, right? Like they were in the finals last year,
Right.
so it seems like it turned around because they were down 3-1 against the Warriors, but like I mean they were a good team last year. They were a great team last year and they're great this year. So
Hmm.
um I mean the Browns are I mean the Browns are still going to be terrible, right? Do we agree on that?
I mean, most likely, yes.
I mean when I when you when you say most
If you
like
don't have they'll be bad.
right
I,
like
I
they're
don't want
far
to. I
more
don't want
like
to hurt Justin's feelings already, but like they're gonna be bad.
he knows
They don't
he
have a good
knows
quarterback.
he knows but more than anybody. I mean
I know,
between
but we're his
like look
official. We're his official like sports pod. Like, if we give him hope, then maybe he will have hope. And now I'm killing it in mid-July. That's so sad.
I mean look like both you and I are pretty pessimistic about like good teams. He's pessimistic about a bad team, so like it's not gonna hurt his feelings. Like, yeah,
Okay.
like he knows, man. Like he knows they're gonna be picking top five, maybe
Yes.
probably top three, probably top three.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he loves the Indians, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he talked about like, look, like the Cavs are winning great. That's great, but it's not the Indians or the Browns. So I think the next 3 months or so will be pretty exciting time for him. And they're an exciting team. Like I like watching the Indians play. Like I mean, they're a really good team, and every guy in their pitching staff is unbelievable. So yeah, they're kind of fun and exciting to watch.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tim. I don't have like it's hard for me to have a baseball team because the Dodgers. I like the Dodgers, but I don't get to watch them. So I don't have a
Yeah,
rooting interest. Like I don't care. Like how can I get into it? How can I get emotionally invested if I can't watch them? You know? Um,
it might be a good thing because like I can sometimes watch them, but like I follow along every game and just like seeing these guys, it's so frustrating.
it just they're so unfun. Like for me, like I'm a football guy. I'm somewhat of a basketball guy. Like it's hard to get my attention in basketball because like the Lakers were good for so long and now they're terrible. So I have other things to do. I like golf. Um, but even golf, like baseball, it's just so unfun right now. Like in the Dodgers, they don't have anyone who like Puig, like he had potential. He's like not he's not good. At least like he's not good. Like he's not appointment viewing for me. Like
No,
when he
he's
first came
he's
up, I was like, I need to make sure I'm watching when he's batting.
Right. Yeah.
and now he's just a guy.
He's your right. He's your run of the mill outfielder.
Yeah, he's just a guy.
Yeah, he's just a guy.
And Corey Seager, like I guess he's playing really well, but
He's gonna be great.
yeah, but it's just like I don't know, like there's just not a lot of excitement around them, so I'm not involved.
Right.
But like I'm totally open and willing to get on the Cleveland bandwagon.
Well, I mean, for the Dodgers, like the excitement is always like when Kershaw's pitching, right? Because you
That's not even
feel like,
exciting. He's a pitcher. Like, wow, look at that
I,
strikeout. It was amazing. Like, no.
well, right, but like at least when you're watching a pitcher, like that's half of the time. Like if you're waiting for a guy to bat, that you're talking about like once every 3 innings.
Well, that's part of why baseball is not fun.
Oh my God, you're the worst.
It is. I'm just being honest. Like, I watch basketball. I get to see Kobe. He can handle the ball in every possession. Like, look, even if they got like, I'm probably one of the more exciting players in baseball right now is either Mike Trout, um, or Bryce Harper, right? And there's probably a couple other guys that that I don't know, but
So
like
you claim.
they're so yeah, so they're exciting. So like they bat, and then it's like, okay, I gotta wait like what 45 minutes at least to see them bat again.
Yeah.
Why? That's no fun. That's not cool. I don't like
I
that.
mean, look, like if I was gonna get into this type of argument, what I would tell you is like, yeah, watching Kobe's great, and then what? Like they have a day off to travel. Like they have 2 days off.
Yeah, but then I don't have to watch. It's like I'm not watching then. It's like they play
Right.
back to
Like
backs in the NBA.
sometimes. I mean, look,
Okay, but they do.
they play half of the games, right? Like, wouldn't you rather watch the Lakers 162 times as opposed to 82 times? Like, I don't like. I want more sports, not less
Well,
sports.
I would like them to play all the sports that I think are fun more and all the sports that I don't think are fun less.
But like,
Just
why
as
did I have to play them less? Like, you could just
like
not watch.
if the baseball, I'll tell you this much. I'll tell you this, Tim. If the baseball season was like 50 games, I'd be way into it. Like because they'd all be so important. Now it's like I don't care. Like some team's gonna get hot later on, and some team that's around 500 and they're gonna win like 15 of 18 games or whatever, and they'll get in a wild card and then they'll do it. Like I don't need to watch right now, and I don't like watching anyway.
I mean, I guess if you're making that point, like you would say the exact same thing about basketball, right?
The NBA,
Yeah, like the regular season.
it doesn't matter, but the game itself is exciting. So like the regular season baseball games are not fun and or exciting, and they don't really matter that much right now. So
Well, I mean, they matter in the sense of like far less teams make the playoffs, and that making the playoffs, like unlike the NBA where it's like teams are jockeying for the ace seed, they have no chance of winning anything. That at least Major League Baseball, you've kind of seen like, hey, if you make it, like you do have a chance.
that's true, but like if the Lakers are bad, like if the Lakers are bad, then basketball has the same problem for me because I don't watch because there's no point.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you then. I'm sorry.
I don't need you to tell me anything. I'm not looking for an answer. I don't
Okay,
I'm just saying like baseball, if I want to watch guys like lollygag around in oversized clothes, like I can go to any Sunday like softball league
or baseball league in my
or
case.
baseball league. Yeah, like you know, I just don't find it very exciting. But I
Well,
will
shame on you then.
I am very willing to um I mean, this is a very anti-GOP statement that I'm making. The GOP probably loves baseball, America's favorite pastime.
Oh my god.
Um, it's bringing it back to the convention tonight. Um, so, do you want to talk about golf? The
I
British
mean, yeah,
Open?
either that or we can like break down like WNBA games.
Can't.
So like, is the WNBA like like the democratic version of like which sport? Like it's basically subsidized by a bunch of like female and then played by female minorities. Is that like their version?
I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not even gonna go there with that.
Like it totally loses money, but we're gonna still keep throwing money at it because it makes us feel good inside. No. Okay.
Um,
Moving right along.
yeah, let's move on from that. The views of Tim Norkus are his views and his own, and I do not endorse them. So the British Open, one of the three majors in golf,
For
or one of the third of the four. That's what I meant. The third of the four majors was played last weekend. Um, what are your views on the British Open, just in general, like in respect of like all the others?
um, I love it because it's the easiest to watch for me, right? Like
Right,
it's
because it's on
first
so
thing in
early.
right, like it's first thing in the morning.
Yeah,
And so like even though like obviously I'm a huge sports fan and everything, like it's really hard for me to make a point to like be home on a Saturday or Sunday like watching golf from like noon to 3. Like just
right,
we have stuff to do.
right.
Um I also like the fact that like it's kind of the one major like I mean I guess you've seen the Masters enough that like if you just turned it on and someone was playing a hole you'd recognize the course. But
Hmm.
like when you talk about like the US Open and the PGA Championship, I mean, they're playing at Baltusrol in a couple of weeks. Like that's a U.S. Open course, and you can
Hmm.
tell it's a U.S. Open course. Generally, any of the British Opens, like you know what kind of style of course it is, right? It's going to be
Right.
a link style. You're almost never going to see the sun. They're all dressed like it's November in Colorado.
Hmm.
It's windy, it's rainy. I guess the only knock is like the weather is such an unpredictable thing. And so if they don't get bad weather, then these guys just destroy the course. So like you're banking on there being weather.
And when you say destroy the course, you mean they just shoot low
Yeah, like
scores,
yeah, like they're gonna have birdie attempt after birdie attempt, which is kind of what we
right?
saw on Thursday.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I mean it's something different. So I certainly look forward to it. Obviously every year. Um, I mean I guess the only downside is like yeah, it's on super early on Saturday and Sunday, but like Thursday and Friday, like it's almost on too early if you want to watch some of the guys. I mean,
I can't.
some of those guys are almost finishing, and I wake up early. Some of those guys are almost finishing when I'm waking up. So
Well, I mean, they teed off my time at 10:30 p.m.
right,
So on Wednesday night. So yeah, I mean, it was incredible. Like especially when you compare it, not so much the U.S. Open because the U.S. Open shows a ton of golf,
yeah,
um, but the Masters, like the Thursday and Friday of the Masters is, I mean, you can't see anyone really. I mean, you get like one block of afternoon players.
right.
They're
So
on
like you
for like
either see
three
them on
hours.
Thursday, yeah, like you either see them on Thursday or on Friday, but not both.
Yeah, I think they started their coverage at 10:30 p.m. on Wednesday night, and they ended their coverage. And this is NBC, by the way, which was the first time that they've ever done it. And we could talk about them later on because I have some issues with the way that they handle their broadcasts. But yeah, so they start on at 10:30 on Wednesday, and then on Thursday afternoon the coverage ends at like 1 o'clock, and this is all Pacific. I mean, like I literally saw the first player tee off, and then I saw the last player. I mean, that's great. Like
Yeah,
all of it. Like let's see all of it. And the U.S. Open is similar to that. I don't think it's even possible to show every player, just because of split tees and all that. But um, yeah, it's awesome. I mean that's why I appreciate it so much. And like the thing that you said, I mean, I woke up a little early. My wife was out of town, so I had the baby, so I woke up early, and I'm just watching it as I drink my coffee, and then she wakes up and she drank her milk, and then she even sat with me on the couch because she's still waking up, so she sat with me on the couch for
yeah,
like 20, 30 minutes and watched. And that's always fun when you watch with your kid.
yeah.
Um,
The leaders teed off at 7:30 Mountain Time on Sunday,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's great.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Um, the thing about the tournament though that I don't really like is this happens a lot of the time, like you mentioned the weather, and it's really unpredictable. So there's always one half of the tee times that gets the good weather and one half of the tee times that gets the terrible weather.
Right.
So this year it was better to play in the afternoon on Thursday and then in the morning on Friday, because on Friday it started to rain and get really windy about midday, and then all the afternoon guys, like, basically it was just, I mean, like 30-mile-an-hour winds, it's pouring rain, like they're holding their umbrellas sideways. I mean, it basically eliminates half the field from playing. It's almost like you're playing two different tournaments at that point.
Right.
That's what I don't like. So like you have guys who are like, you shoot a great round, like, so like let's say you shoot 3 under on Thursday, which is a pretty good score. It's not terrible. Like Phil went out and shot um 8 under, but then he entered the weekend at like 11, so he only shot like 2 or 3 under on Friday. So theoretically, like, if you just shoot 3 under again, it's like you're only kind of 5 back heading the weekend, like you're right in it.
Yeah.
But on Friday afternoon, like, a good score is like 3 over, like 74. But then it's like you're 10 shots back now, and it's like, now what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean it's over at that point.
Yeah, like, you've been essentially eliminated from the tournament because of the way your tee time was set up.
Right.
So like, I don't, you're eliminating half the field based on a clerical situation. Like, that's not good. That should not
Yeah, I mean,
happen.
I guess it could happen
Well, I don't say
at
it
all the
shouldn't happen. It's
tournaments.
just kind of unfair.
Right. Yeah, I mean it's certainly luck of the draw. I mean, if that same sort of thing happens Saturday or Sunday, it's not as big of a deal because like they're all kind of playing together.
Right.
Um, yeah, I mean, like if it was up to me, it would be miserable the whole time for every round, morning or afternoon.
It's pretty fun.
So, yeah, I mean, like I don't know, like I guess watching someone shoot 63 like one time is pretty fun, but then it's like I see it twice in 4 days, and it kind of like I don't know. It almost makes it less fun, I guess.
So Henrik Stenson was the eventual winner of the event, and he shot 20 under, which was, I think, tied for the lowest score in any major, or was it just the British? I can't remember what it was.
Well, so he has the lowest aggregate score. I think it was like 264.
Uh-huh.
And as far as being under par, it's I think tied Jason Day from last year.
Right, and Tiger had 20 under in some tournament. I think he had 20 under in like 2000 at St. Andrews.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So, and Phil Mickelson was second at 17 under, and then third place was like 6 under. So it was basically those two.
Phil finished, I think, 16 under, right?
He was 17.
17?
Because Stenson won by 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically it was those two guys. And on the one hand, it's like you say to yourself, like, a guy shoots 63, another guy shoots 65. Like, it's great golf, but it's like they're never really in trouble, and it's like it wasn't that windy, so it's like the course is pretty, the course is pretty tame, obviously, if it's not windy. But at the same time, like, you do have to hit the shots, and it's hard when another guy is just making birdies, because Phil came out and knocked one stiff on number 1. And I mean, Stenson just kept making birdie after birdie. Like, I mean, you still have to do it. You know, just
So
because the course isn't
here's
playing hard, the pressure is still there.
yeah. So the only two guys to get to 20 under par are Day and Stenson. Got to 19 in the 2000 British.
Okay.
And then he got to 18 in the 06 British. The British, I mean, look, none of them are going to be the US Opens. They're always going to be like the PGA or the British or the Masters. Yeah, I mean, I guess the highest or the lowest score not to win would be tied Tiger Woods in the 2000 PGA and then lost in the playoff.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They were both 18 under par.
They were both 18. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, Phil now has two. I think he has the not in the PGA, but he has the lowest score in the British not to win and the low score in the Masters not to win. So I guess
Oh yeah, I saw that.
something.
That's
I guess
something. I mean,
that's something, right?
well, I mean, so he played amazing. Like he didn't make a bogey. He didn't really. He was never really in trouble.
Right.
You know, obviously he could have made a couple more birdies, and he left a
Right.
tying putt. He left a tying putt for eagle on 16 short, which is, I mean, you just can't leave it short. I mean, he kind of got robbed. But
I mean, it was going right at the hole, and then it lost speed. But I don't know if I would say it was short. Since when it lost speed, it just got offline, right?
because he didn't hit it hard enough.
Yeah, but it still got to the hole. It wasn't like it was the ball didn't end up short of the hole.
It ended up on the side of the hole.
Right. So it was on the side. It wasn't short of the hole.
It's kind of short. I mean, I guess if he had aimed it a little bit further right, it would have gone in. I guess that's your point.
Right.
But
Yeah.
for the line he chose,
That's
he
totally
didn't
my
hit it
point.
hard enough. But for the line he chose, he didn't hit it hard enough.
But I mean,
So-
I was trying to think about that because we talked about it. It wasn't like he left like a little 6 or 7 footer short, you know. Like I think when you're that far away, I don't know. Like I felt like I didn't think he was gonna make the putt to begin with, but it wasn't the worst putt I've ever seen.
I didn't say
Especially
it was a
from him.
bad putt. I'm just saying. Well, especially for him, like he didn't for the line he chose, he didn't hit it hard enough.
Okay.
So for me, I mean, it's on the 16th hole. You're down 2. It has to get there.
Well, especially because you know the other guy's making birdie as well.
Right. Exactly. So,
Yeah.
but whatever. I mean, he played great. I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess if you feel like if you're, because they asked him afterwards, you know, whether or not like does it take the sting off that you played so well and you did all you can do. It just wasn't some guy made 10 birdies. You know, does it take a sting off? And he said it didn't. Like, where are you on that? Because I feel like athletes, they want, and I don't know how you feel about it, but like you want two things, right? Just as an athlete, you want to rise to the occasion, and you want to know that your best golf, like your best play, is better than everyone else. So I think that he met one of two. Like he rose to the occasion clearly. Like no one could say like, oh, he laid an egg, because he didn't.
Right.
But like I feel like he has to feel like he played his best, right? I mean, he can't.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so.
I mean, he was never in trouble.
I mean,
like he
I
never
guess
hit bad
I guess
shots.
the only other thing you'd say is like he's won 5 majors, so like in hindsight, like not winning wasn't his best. Like winning a major was playing his best. You know what I mean? Like you said, like if he played his best, then like he wouldn't have, come up a few inches short on 16.
Well,
right? And I know it's nitpicking because you're talking about a few shots here over 4 days, but
I guess
don't know,
like
it's just a tough question to answer.
Like it was that like you do you think that he's standing there or like was standing there thinking like I played my A game like all week?
Um, Probably. I think. I mean, I got A game.
He has to think so. He shot 17 under. Like that's amazing. Like you said, that's like only one other person shot better and lost. And that person lost to Tiger Woods, who might be the best golfer ever. Like like would Tiger Woods ever play as well as he can and lose to anyone? Like when he was, actually playing golf?
No, but like Phil's obviously not on that level.
But I think Phil, like, I think that he thinks of himself as on that level.
I mean,
And so, like, I think that's
but the
why
thing
I
is,
think that's the
you're
disappointment
not
is what I'm
asking
getting at.
him though. Like you're not asking him. Like
But I think that's the answer because I was thinking to myself, like, well, you won 5 majors. Like, I would think that, like, yeah, I just got beat by a better person. But I think for an athlete like him, I think especially now that Tiger is not playing. Like I think that he thinks that his A game is better than everyone else's. And
well, if that's the case, I mean, he hasn't won since in 3 years anywhere. He hasn't won anything in 3 years.
but he
So
hasn't played good golf either.
right, so it's either his A game is not good enough, or he doesn't really have an A game anymore.
But that's exactly like that's the point. Like that's why I feel like it was so hurtful to him because maybe that was the realization. It's like, wow. Like even my best can lose. Like
Yeah,
that's hard. Like
I mean,
as an athlete, like that's hard for me. Like I would, if I was an elite athlete like that, I'm obviously not just kind of just trying to put myself into his shoes. Like I would feel like, man, I played as well as I could and I lost. Like I can't play better. Like that's
right.
one of those like what am I hoping for now?
I mean, golf is kind of weird. Like had we haven't had one of these like in a while. Not in the sense of like that he got to 17 under, and I'd have to look back. But guessing at some of these other like like the second place guy wasn't in 7 shots or 12
Yeah.
shots.
Yeah.
So like when Bob May lost to Tiger, like yeah, they were at 18 under, but like I don't know whoever was third place, but they probably weren't at like 5 under. Um,
I don't think so.
I I I mean, yeah, like obviously he played great, right? Because you're not going to be that far out in front of the field and not have played great. But
Hmm.
I mean, since it's an individual sport, like I don't know, like I don't even know if like I don't even know if like luck is the word because it's like you just like the guy who's a 5-time major champion just lost to like I mean I guess that's what Henrik Stenson's a game is like, but like he's never gotten anywhere near this.
Hmm.
Like I mean I
Well,
guess
he
you
I
could
think
say like
I think he got second in 2013.
well I mean like just like against like this sort of field like being so far out in front of everybody else.
Oh yeah.
Like it's not like it's his A like obviously he's never then had even an A game like this or an A+ game or whatever you want to call it.
Hmm.
Um yeah, I mean it was weird like watching it like it felt like when they were hitting shots it was incredible to watch. But other than that I thought the coverage was just kind of boring cuz there's
Well,
nothing
yeah,
really
you
else to
can't you can't
watch.
even manufacture drama.
Right. And
Like they were
especially
showing
like
they were showing putts of like Rory McIlroy. He's going from like -4 to -5.
and it's kind of weird like when you get to the 11th or 12th hole you think like oh my gosh like this is going to come down to the 18th. And then all
Yeah.
of a sudden these two guys are dueling and now it's like the 18th is like it doesn't even matter. Like the
Right.
18th didn't even really matter. That and
Right.
so that I thought like, some of the drama out of it because for as close as it was, like I mean 3 shots, like that's a like if you win by 3 shots, that basically means like you didn't have any pressure standing on 18 for the most part. like you just can't hit it in the water out of bounds. Like, just find your ball and you're probably good.
Well,
Um,
I mean, the big moment was when Phil didn't make the eagle putt because that would have tied it. And look, Stenson, yes, he still could have made birdie behind him, but like he he could have tied it then, and maybe it puts a little bit more pressure on Stenson.
well, it certainly
But
puts more pressure.
even if he goes up one, like now you're just, I mean, it's a bogey away. Like now so on the 16th, that was the big one.
Yeah.
And then look, if Stenson, if he was like 15 inches away from being in that pot bunker on 18, and then he's got to play sideways.
That was unbelievable. Like right when the ball hit the ground, I thought it's going in there. Right?
Yeah.
Because the ball, like, it had the momentum and it just kept rolling and rolling and rolling, and then it just stops. And you're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe it.
So, speaking of the coverage, I mean, look, first of all, I love Johnny Miller.
He's the best.
He's phenomenal. I mean, he's honest. He gives incredible insight. Like he hears when a ball is not hit flush, like, so well. And I guess what he does is I don't know, like I guess he like is in his basement and he used to hit balls or something, and he would just listen for the sound to get good at this or something. I mean, he's a former player, he won I think it was the British Open or the U.S. Open when he shot
U.S.
63.
Open.
U.S. Open when he shot 63. Yeah. So yeah,
I think it was at Oakmont.
Yeah, he was a really good golfer. He's very controversial because he'll just call a player basically a choker. Well, not the player is a choker, is that the action was a choke. Like he choked on it, basically.
Yeah.
Not that like he's a choker, but it's like, oh, he choked. But at the same time, like he's so knowledgeable. And if the ball, like if it's slightly missed, it'll be like, ooh, that sounded a little thin. And then they'll show the replay and it's like, yep, he hit it thin. Or yep, he hit a little, and he's like, oh, it sounded a little chunky. And it's like barely chunky, but he just knows. And I think that him and Dan Hicks do such a great job together. So just like the fact that he's doing it kind of makes it worth it. But I texted you this during the thing. Like, it's so hard to go from the U.S. Open where every shot has the Pro Tracer where you can see the ball flying through the air with the little laser thing that they do. You know exactly where it's going, and you see the shot shape, and it's just so pleasurable to watch. It makes it more fun to watch because you see how they're shaping the ball. You see how the ball's moving. Because, like, look, it's windy, right? Like even when it's tame, like it's 20 miles an hour. So like you want to see like how is the wind affecting the ball flight? How is it doing that? Like how are these guys playing wind conditions? 1 out of every 15 shots has the Pro Tracer. It's unacceptable. Like, how can that happen? Like, it's 2016. Like, you obviously have the technology. Like, it's like a sponsor thing. Like,
well, I mean, and the fact that they have it, like they obviously have it. Like, I don't know why you just can't do it on more shots. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, like it takes away. It's like I'm just guessing. It's like I told you. It's like on 17 when Stenson hit his tee shot into the par 3, and he hits it. And he kind of makes a weird face, and then he walks away, and he's like giving the club to his caddy, like, get this thing out of my hand. And I'm thinking, this ball could be like in the grandstand or something. And then it lands like 10 feet away. And it's like, oh, wow, it was a good shot. Yeah, it's like, oh, I guess he liked it. And it's like, it would have been nice to, have some sort of tracer technology so I can see how he hit the shot.
And they even say it like, oh, he's gonna play a little right to left, or he's gonna hit a little cut here. Yeah. And then you can see it as opposed to just like, oh, here's the ball landing. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's like a British Open thing and it's harder there to do it, or
And not just that, but
I mean, I don't have a good answer for you.
because it's so kind of dark and there's lots of clouds, like it's hard for the cameras to follow the ball too.
Right.
You know, so if you just have the guy behind with the pro tracer, it's like, oh, I can just follow it that way.
I
You
mean,
know,
maybe that's why they can't have the Pro Tracer. I mean, I'm not really sure. I don't know.
I'm just not. I'm just not buying that because they do it sometimes. Like if you can do it sometimes, you should be able to do it all the time.
Right. Right. So the PGA is in, well, I guess a week and a half now.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, any expectation that either Stenson or Mickelson will give it a run?
Say it again.
Any
Sorry.
expectation that either Stenson or Mickelson will be there Sunday afternoon?
Stenson, no chance. Um,
You think just a little too much partying this week, or what?
it's too quick of a turnaround. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just partying, but like there's, he's got to do a bunch of interviews now, he's got to do a bunch of other things that like normally if he gets third, like he just goes home and,
Right.
hits the range the next day.
Collect that check.
Yeah. But now now he's got to do a bunch of, interviews. He's got to talk to people. He's got to make appearances with it,
Yeah.
So it's just too quick of a turnaround for him. I think Phil, I don't know. It's hard to say because he's looked so poor this year. Like he hasn't been in contention in either of the other two majors.
Right.
I don't remember him being in contention in any tournaments. So it's like he's been bad, and all of a sudden he comes out here and he looks like he's in his prime.
Right. He shoots the 63 on Thursday, and then
Yeah. And it's like and he's not even doing like the normal Phil stuff that he normally does when he's like, he had a couple moments when he was like out of the gorse bush or whatever, like he got lucky kick or whatever, but like normally he's slapping it all over the place and he's just saving
what? And I don't remember what hole it was, but he had ran a birdie putt by like 4.5 feet, and he didn't go mark it. He just went up to hit it, and he ended up making it. But I thought like, oh my god, he's gonna rush this and miss it. And he ended up making it. I was actually kind of shocked because it would just seem like you'd have missed it there for sure.
He did have a couple of loose putts. That's very Phil of him. He's like, I don't understand these pros that like change their grip. Like he went from like the claw grip, and then on other holes he would have like the normal grip. I don't understand that.
I don't know.
I don't understand how any of these guys change their grip. Like you've been putting this way your whole life. Like I understand your swing is sometimes different, but it's like you're putting. It's like you're putting like you putt the same. It's like like you wouldn't see Steph Curry all of a sudden like change his free throw style, or like any of these guys. Like,
I think the weird. Well, look, I think that like reverse grip, like that's somewhat new, right? I mean, that didn't always used to be
the reverse claw or something, or the left hand
like
low or something.
Yeah, like that. I feel like that's like in the last 10 years. Like guys didn't used to do that ever.
I don't know. I can't speak to what they were doing.
But yeah, I mean they're pretty quick to go with a grip, to go with a new grip, or even like a new putter. Like if you saw Phil's handle on the putter was like, oh my god, you better get your hand around it.
Yeah.
Like
that's all the rage in the last like 5 or 6 years. Like the bigger, like KJ Choi's got one.
Right.
And that's what always like concerned me about Tiger was when he changed his putter, and then B, he changed his putter, his grip when he was putting. And I thought, why? Like you're the best putter maybe ever, and you're changing stuff. Like why are you doing that? Like that doesn't make any sense. It would be like Steph Curry changing his free throw style.
Right.
It really would. That wouldn't make sense to me. Um, yes, or I'm gonna I'm gonna set the over under for rounds of competitive golf for Tiger Woods in 2016 at half a round.
Well,
Like, will he
considering,
play one round of competitive golf this year?
I mean, I'll say under.
So no.
Well, I mean, no. It, I guess like maybe his mindset has to have been changed, but he's always been a guy who plays for majors, right? In 2 weeks, then he's basically saying, I'm going to get ready for next year's Masters. And if you're getting ready for next year's Masters, like he's going to probably play more events in like February and March, but like
Mhm.
he's not going to qualify for any of uh the tournaments down the stretch. He's not going to qualify, right?
You mean like the playoffs?
Yeah.
Oh no, no,
So
it's
so
impossible.
there's not that many chances left.
No, I mean he can always play on the like on the lower, but he would never do that.
Right, exactly. So like yeah, I mean it
I
would
don't
be
mean like
here.
web.com, like they're yeah. So yeah, yeah. I don't see how he plays. I just don't. I mean, I don't. I don't even know what's going on with him.
I mean,
It's so weird.
I was looking today at like the list of like how many like major championships like list, like Nicholas at 18 and then Tiger at 14. Then you see Phil at 5 and McIlroy at 4. I think like Tiger's been at 14 for 6 years now, longer,
No,
8
eight,
years,
eight.
8 years.
His last one was in 2008, I believe, the U.S. Open.
That's insane to me. Like it just
That's
feels
crazy.
like that's so insane
That's crazy.
because like Mickelson, like granted he didn't win, but Mickelson is older than he is.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean? Much
by
older.
about, like 6 years, I think.
Right. And I mean he won a major 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't I mean I don't know the history of golf like that well, but I can't imagine like somebody being this uncompetitive for this long and then coming back and like being a good player, I guess.
See, to me, that's the problem. Is not so like, oh, can he come back from injury? It's like he hasn't played golf. Like who did
Yeah.
he? I mean, all these guys, like whether or not they're playing well, it's like Phil. Whether or not he's playing well, like he's playing golf. So there's like little things about his game that like are still sharp. Like his short game is always sharp. Even if he can't drive the ball, even if he can't putt the ball, like his chipping, his work around the greens, like it's still always what it is. It's like
Yeah.
Tiger, I mean, it's like he used to be the best at everything. And now like he was going through stuff like he had the yips, like he couldn't chip, like he was putting from like 50 yards off the green. Like it was crazy.
Right. It was like some amateur stuff.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you go to your local muni, like you play with your buddies with like a bunch of beers in the
Right. And it's
back
like,
of
oh,
the
I'm not
golf
gonna
cart.
chip from here. I'm just gonna putt it.
Yeah, just give
It's
me
like,
my
yeah,
putter. It's
yeah,
like
like
yeah,
that's fine. Like, yeah, I
yeah,
understand.
you should putt
For
through the rough. Like you're terrible at that. So
right, exactly.
yeah, yeah, it was just that's the thing. Like he's not playing enough golf. Like how can he be good when he's not playing? Like
Right.
no one ever prepared for greatness by not playing their sport.
I mean, the PEDs finally caught up. What do you want me to say?
I mean, I don't know. He's a golfer who's like having back surgeries and torn Achilles and broken legs and torn ACLs. I don't know. He's a golfer. I mean, he's talking about getting in golf shape. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Yeah,
It's
like I
golf.
mean, there's right, like the guy like Phil is just 46, 47 years old. He's kind of been a little husky his whole life.
And
And you're
by the
talking about
way,
getting in golf shape.
like this is the most like fit, like I mean, there's other guys on the tour that are fit, but like he is the stereotypical like fit athlete golfer.
Who, Phil?
No, Tiger.
Oh, okay.
It's like, so this guy
Yeah, like
who's
back
like,
in the day, yeah.
well, even now, like he's thin, like he's got the steely abs and the broad
I don't know.
shoulders, and the biceps, and all that hocus pocus. It's like you need to get in golf shape. What does that
Yeah.
even mean? Like what is that? Like is how do you train for that? Like do you put weights in your golf bag and like you have to carry it around? It's like
Like it's
is
walking.
that part of is
It's
that part of the
walking.
boot camp? Is that part of the boot camp, Tim?
I oh, I see what you
It's
did
like,
there.
are we gonna see the yeah? Are we gonna get the Tiger Woods motivational video where he's like slogging along, like carrying these like sandbags, like while he's walking the course, and then like hitting shots with dead arms, and he's like over on the side, it's like some Nike commercial, like he's puking. It's like it's like just do it, Tiger Woods
I mean,
coming
yeah,
back.
like it's it's walking.
It's golf. Just
Like I don't
you
know what golf shape
and
means.
like you know what like he doesn't even have to carry his clubs.
Right.
Like
Like
I go golfing and yeah, it makes me tired, but I'm carrying my own stuff. He's just walking.
that's like a 30-40 pound bag. Yeah, like he's
Yeah,
walking. Yeah, he's just walk. It's just walking.
he's just walking,
Like I don't
you know.
know.
And he gets a little sandwich. He gets a little sandwich out of his bag and he eats his sandwich and his little banana. Gets some water
That someone else has probably made.
that someone else made for him.
It's probably he probably got it from Perkins.
Oh, too soon. Too soon.
Um,
The low
maybe
hanging fruit.
maybe you could say not soon enough.
Oh, I can't. I will say he was doing better when he was philandering. I'm just saying his mind seemed to be better.
Yeah. I mean, he's always been like, I guess, kind of a weird guy, but
I mean, you have to be a weird dude to, it's like the guy's been in the national spotlight since he was like 15.
right,
It's like,
right.
yeah, no one's gonna come in contact with him, and he's gonna be like, yeah, he was really down to earth. Like, no, he's not. He's not down to earth, but that's okay. That's why Kobe's not down. That's why Kobe's a big weirdo. It's like, of course he's a weirdo. He just watched Michael Jordan and was like, hey, I'm gonna be better than him, and then dedicated his life to being better than him. Like, even though he ultimately wasn't, like, he tried.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, he's not like me and you, and neither is Tiger.
yeah. I mean, I could go walk 18 holes tomorrow at elevation.
I want to walk 18 holes tomorrow.
Yeah, especially if someone's gonna carry my bag, and make me a sandwich.
Exactly. Oh, I want my mom to make me a sandwich. Mom, make me a nice ham and cheese.
Um, yeah. I mean, better the question like half over under half of a competitive round. Is he ever gonna win another major?
No,
You don't think so?
he doesn't play. And here's the
Um,
thing: not
you
only
do.
does he
It
have
is
to,
like the lot. It is like the lotto. You do have to play to win. Like there's no
yes,
question about that.
yes, like he's not going to play this year, and I'm just waiting for like I really feel like the next serious thing that we hear from him is he's going to try to give it a go, and he's going to break down again, and he's just going to have to retire. Like I
Really?
honestly, I mean, what is going on with this? Like what is he waiting for? Like we keep talking about he's progressing. Oh, it's getting a little bit better. It's getting a little bit better. Like this his surgery was literally a year ago.
Right.
It's
I mean,
golf.
I guess next year's Masters is a big thing because I mean, like that's 6 months from now,
And he
right?
has
No,
the
that's
best
farther than 6 months from now.
he
That's
has the
like
best rehab.
9 months from now.
Who gets better care than him?
Right. No one.
Nobody. He has
Has
access to everything.
any superstar in any sport ever like fallen off faster than him?
Um like went from being completely dominant to just I don't know how to play.
Yeah, I guess like lucky they have all these exemptions, or he might lose his tour card.
Um, to be honest with you, Kobe.
When?
I mean, his was forced, but like in 2013, he was like he played great in 2013. I mean, he was incredible. Like he played one of his better seasons. Um, and then he tore his Achilles, and then in hindsight, like looking back, like that was basically it. Like the next year he played like 6 games or whatever, broke his leg again. And then the next year he played like 20 games, but then he got hurt again. And then it was, this last season and he was completely just awful. He went from being like he might have been he was probably first team all NBA in 2013 to nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's as big as Tiger, but yeah, that's certainly one.
I mean, he definitely wasn't like because his career was ending anyway, like
Right.
it was already coming to like Tiger in 2008 or 2009 when, he had the scandal and everything happened and then he started like from then on he kind of had never been the same.
I
At
mean,
that point,
when Tiger won his last major in '08, it felt like it would almost be impossible for him not to pass Jack, right?
right. I mean, it would have been done by now.
Right. Like you were more thinking like, well, is he going to get to 20 or 22?
Yeah, like what's the ceiling?
So because like I mean, the life expectancy in golf is like he's only probably about halfway through, right? Like how old was he in 2008?
Sheesh.
I guess however old he is now minus 8 years.
Well, he was 21 and 97, so plus 11, so 32.
Right, so
He's
32. So you're thinking he's got I mean,
Jesus.
to be winning like a lot of majors in your 40s is probably not realistic. But like you could probably win a couple in your 40s, but to win, you know, I would say more majors are won by guys in their 30s than generally than guys in their 20s. So, I mean, that's his
Right.
prime. Like he was in the middle of his prime.
Oh, absolutely.
It didn't feel. I mean, now it feels like it was the end of his prime because he didn't win anything else. But like that was his prime, and it almost feels. It almost feels like it was just yesterday, but at the same time, like man, it feels so long ago. You know what I mean?
Well, it's hard because like you think of his prime because in 2013, like he was the player of the year on the PGA Tour.
Right.
He won 5 times, including the PGA, which is not a major, but
I
they
mean the
call it the fifth,
players,
the players, yeah, which is not a major, but they call it the fifth major or whatever. Um,
and he was generally competitive in the majors.
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was people were picking him like he was the favorite, probably in every
Right.
single one. So it, it's bizarre. I mean, because when his scandal hit, it was the end of 2009 and then 2010 or whatever. And like when he hurt, he didn't play that much in 2009 because he was recovering from his Achilles and his leg. And the funny thing is you would think like while he's recovering from those, like he's also like his body is also resting at that point.
Right.
So it's like, and then the back injury thing comes up, and it's like, well, where did that even come from? Because he hadn't played, like at that point, he hadn't played a ton of golf.
Yeah.
So like, was it already there? Like, was it lingering? And I know that people said like, oh, with this torque or whatever, but I don't know. Like, we get into the thing with PEDs, like all this kind of surface, like right around the time that the PGA Tour started to test for it.
Yeah. It's just weird. Like you look back in 2008, not just like I mean more in golf, but like not that they didn't exist, but like Rory McIlroy wasn't even on tour. Neither was Jordan Spieth.
No.
Day I think was
No.
just starting.
Well, Jordan Spieth
Um,
was probably like 13,
yeah, yeah, like
13,
it's
14.
crazy. Like like Rory's won 4 since then, and Spieth won a couple, and like you just like golf's like a whole different game than it was 8 years ago. Um, New faces, yeah, like I mean, yeah, it's weird. I
Well,
don't know,
now
like
all the go ahead.
part of me feels like he's gonna make. I mean, he's gonna come back to the tour. Like, I don't think that he'll be like retired, but like he might be like one of these guys who like he like can keep it together for like 2.5 rounds, like we see sometimes still with like Bernard Long or Fred Couples,
Mm,
and it's like, oh, like maybe like what a great story this would be, and then like it's just not enough.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
Like,
mean,
yeah,
because
like
he doesn't have the edge.
right, like maybe it'll end up with like a top 10 finish or something, but like ultimately by like the back nine on Sunday, he's not really in contention.
Yeah, like he always
But like
had the edge. Like, he always had the
right,
par save. He always had the get up and down from wherever to make birdie. He'd make birdie from behind a tree. Like now, if he's behind a tree, it's like it's a double.
yeah, yeah. Um, I mean, look, obviously it'd be great for golf. Like the TV ratings the next time he's in contention at a major, like I mean, they're going to be unbelievable, right? Like I mean,
Yeah.
they're
Oh
still going to be unbelievable.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. All right, buddy. Well, I guess we can go. It's time to go to bed. I'm tired.
yeah. So what's on tap for this week? What do you got?
What do you mean? As far as
Yeah, like what's like what are we looking forward to?
what am I looking forward to? I don't know. Not much. I mean, summer league's over. Brandon Ingham impressed me a little bit. D'Angelo Russell impressed me a lot a bit. Um, there's 32nd pick Zubac. He looked real good. He looked like I don't want to just compare him to like all the Euro guys, but he looked good. But that's over with. Um, I don't know. It's kind of like it's not a very good sports week. Like I got the end of summer school.
We're getting pretty close to NFL training camps.
Oh
We're
boy.
getting
I'm
pretty
very
dang
excited for that.
close.
I'm very excited for that. I've got to write a couple articles for UHND, so
Yeah.
I got something coming up on Brian Kelly. We need to see some improvement.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, that sounds good.
All right, guys. So as always, it's going to go up on Mike's Facebook page. I'm going to put it up on my Twitter. It's at Greg2126. Tim will probably also put it up on his Facebook page. And thanks to CDK for the music. And we'll talk to you guys next week. Actually, I don't know about next week because Mike will be on vacation. So I don't know how I'll get it posted. So we might take a week
All
off.
right.
But other than
Sounds
that,
good.
all right, man. Talk soon.
All right. All right, buddy.
All right.
Later.